I'm going to share the absolute best VFX plugin probably ever and how to use it. This plugin is completely free and I'm hoping it stays free. First, head over to the description or search up VFX Studio and download it. Then head into Roblox Studio, manage plugins, and enable VFX Studio. Now open it on the top where the purple looking icon is and have both VFX Studio and toggle panels open. This plugin comes with thousands of static textures. This plugin has more textures than Zonito Visuals and other texture plugins combined, and it's insane. To use it, similar to my other tutorials, make a part with the particle emitter and select it. Then just click insert and it'll replace the default texture with what you chose in VFX Studio. You can also favorite any of these textures and they show up at the bottom if you scroll. This also has all the texture IDs and you can rename the textures if you really like. If you want a spot to store them, just click on the user tab and you can add any of the plugin's textures or your own personal textures that you imported from Asset Manager. That was how to import a texture and use it, but now it's slightly different for a flipbook. First, either click on all or the flipbook tab and select your flipbook, then insert it into the part with the particle emitter, and if it doesn't automatically format it, head down and choose either one shot, which is usually for explosions or one-time effects, or you can choose loop, which is great for enabled effects like fire or light. Change the settings to this if you want to preview or manage it. Also, the flipbook doesn't loop into itself. A cheap solution is to set the transparency into this to kind of loop it. You can also just stack more of them on top so it looks like it's looping seamlessly. Now you can toggle the VFX Studio icon and you'll see some buttons on the left. You can enable all of them and we have some Bezier curves, emit, loop, which is enable, trail, properties with retime and scale, colors with HSL, and of course the settings. First, I'll show the Bezier curves. Here you can set the range or envelope and customize the curve with this dot tool, but it's better to just use the preset since it's easier. I have an effect here. I'll set the range to 0 to 32 and show some of the curves. These can then be reversed with this little switch. Also again, envelope randomizes the range, so if I put it the same size, it will be completely random based on the graph from 0 to 32. Now I'll reset everything and show the next panel, which is color and properties panel. Here you can change the colors in real time with HSL like this. And you can change the scale and time scale in the properties tab. I'd only recommend retiming enabled effects and not omitted ones. You can also change the scale like this. Now the emit panel, I'll disable VFX Suite for this. Here you can choose how much of the item you have selected gets emitted, and it'll automatically apply the attribute like VFX Suite. You can of course delay it and have a duration for it. Now if you click the 3 dots, you can loop your effect based on the delay. This one is pretty finicky though, I'd recommend just enabling it, but it works great with emitting effects. There's also a simple trail orbit option, but it's pretty laggy and needs a revamp. Lastly, the settings. Here there is scales for all the UI for your own preferences, and that's mostly everything for the panels. With this plugin, you can also store any VFX or sounds you need. To do this, just select which sound you want to save and click on the sound tab. Then click add new VFX and then create. You can't add multiple at a time though. Now to add them back in, just select the folder or parent and click on the sound. This also works for VFX, it's very similar. Just click on the VFX tab, select a part or mesh with them inside, which is what I have here. Now just click add VFX, and to get a nice angle, just angle the camera like in front of the VFX or wherever you want, and then click create. Now you can just hover the previews to see what effects you have stored, but some effects will look weird because of the shaping and mesh, and you may need to re-add the mesh, so I'll mostly use this for straight up VFX. Now this plugin comes with 25 scripts, server-side scripts, and modules built in. It's hard to understand how the modules work without knowing what's going on, but I go through quick and go in depth in a different video. First, this is the input script that checks what button you've clicked and where the mouse is. Then it fires a message to the input remote event over here in the server script. This is where you can call all the modules from another script, or how I like to organize it, which is in module mechanics, where I hold all the functions and everything. Here, all I have is the rock and bubble module from the plugin VFX Studio. And if I go in game, you'll see both of them getting called when I click 1 and 2. Everyone can see this and it's not stuck on client side, so you can test it out with a friend or whoever. These are the modules I decided to show because they're the simplest to get started with. Now my favorite thing about this system is that you can store any scripted VFX you have and store it in user. For example, my scripted explosion effect, all you do is you copy the module of the effect into replicated storage where you store the VFX mechanics. For example, my explosion mechanics. This is what scripts the VFX and how it works. Now you can just add this by selecting it, then going to scripts and clicking on the user tab, then just click add new script and it's now saved in VFX Studio. When importing it back into other places and such, make sure everything is properly referenced and ready so you can just copy and paste effects wherever you want. I have an effect manager module too to manage even better, but again that's from the module tutorial. And this is what it looks like with everything referenced. This plugin also has a mesh tab with 150 meshes inside. You can add your own, same way as the sounds in VFX. This is also a good way to just have easy access to meshes instead of going to the toolbox and finding a VFX mesh patch every time you need a mesh. And that's everything for the meshes without going in depth of tweening them for VFX in another tutorial. Now for the properties, here I'll resize this aura effect. Then I'm going to save a property from this effect, it being size. First select your particle emitter, then select what property you want and click create. Now I'm going to delete this duplicated effect and select the old effect and click on the property I added, and it should replace the old property. This is how it does work, but as of now it may be broken. Either way it'll be fixed and other plugins can do that too, or you can just copy and paste your own parameters from that effect. Personally, I think this is a must-have plugin now, and I'm really hoping it stays free. Otherwise, get this as soon as you can, as quickly as you can, because this is a mix of all the plugins from my VFX setup tutorial, all in one. So if you're going to stick with the plugin, stick with this, and maybe VFX Suite, if that gets updated. Other than that, hope you enjoyed watching, like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.